afternoon, and welcome to Voices of Triumph on the Road. This series is a powerful extension of our book, Voices of Triumph, Stories of African Immigrant Women in America, a publication that continues to inspire and empower women, men, and young professionals across the globe. We decided to take this conversation on the road to bring our readers closer to the heart of these stories. Stories rooted in bold dreams, resilience, lifting each other, and overcoming barriers without losing our cultural identity. In today's episode, we shine a light on one of Africa's phenomenal daughters, Dr. Chris Wachira, who is making waves in the wine industry here in the US and abroad. I am Dr. Neka Chukwu, and joining me today are my extraordinary sisters and co-authors.
Hi everyone, I'm Margaret, Dr. Margaret Ngozi Obilo. Nice to be here today.
Hi, I am Dr. Angela Ikeme, so pleased to be here today.
And I am Dr. Chris Wachira. I'm excited to be here with you ladies.
Awesome, fantastic. Thank you ladies for being here. So, over 700 people have already watched our very first episode. That's just amazing. And the feedback has been absolutely heartwarming. Would love to share just a few of those comments. Dr. Margaret, do you want to?
Sure. And so we got one comment. It says, I enjoyed reading every bit of the book and listening to this inspiring conversation makes the book even more relatable to everyone, even men and women. Wow. Thank you so much. Thank you, readers.
This particular individual said, these are the voices of formidable African women. The authors have rendered an invaluable intellectual contribution to the discourse on survival and progress against all odds. And again, thank you to this reader.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And just two more. One says we need a coaching movement from this. Our generations need this, as well as so many women. And then, of course, the last one, but not the least, this is liberating to those of us who are culturally trained to stay humble while also being diminished in the industries that have the pleasure of receiving our brilliance. My takeaways are, after listening, are to not diminish our own self, lead with who you really are, that was Dr. Wachira, not shying away from the accomplishments we've earned. Thank you for sharing. Ladies, how do you feel about these comments?
It's inspiring to hear and read these comments from all readers across the globe, both men and females, young and old, African and non-African readers, to understand that we come from different backgrounds, but our stories are similar, and they want to hear more about this because they can relate. A lot of them can relate to these stories, and that's why we are so excited to continue to talk about it and see how we can change the narratives.
I think for me, what it does, it reaffirms the value add that you bring to community, right? Because what you ladies have done, you've stepped into that gap. And whether you realized it or not, we didn't have a space that allowed us to tell our stories and to show up, to share what we have accomplished, right? So what the book has done is it has given us a spotlight, and it has also given us a platform to be able to share that with others. And so it's incredible.
Wonderful.
I'm really excited because I feel like, it's a journey, right, that we have started. And we're really glad to bring a lot of you, along the journey with us. And we hope that you continue to be here to support us in every way that you can. And we're really, really happy that, you feel like we're giving you a voice through this podcast that we're doing. Thank you.
Absolutely thrilling, and it is everything that has been said. But in addition to that, to your point, it is a journey, and it's not, oh yeah, we're signing off when the work is done. There's just so much for us to do, not just for our generation, but the generation coming after us. And it's just so thrilling to get the feedback from some of our young readers and those who have also watched our episode. And that's why we're back for more, right? So again, thank you so much for being here with us, to spend the afternoon with us, Dr. Margaret.
Okay, well, Dr. Wachira, we just want to thank you again for bringing us to this your exquisite place. And so we're excited. We want to continue the conversation with you. And we have several different questions we've lined up today for you, to talk to us a little bit more. So I'll start up the question by asking, can you share with us a little bit more about your background and your accomplishments?
So I'll start at the top. So I'm a mother, I'm a daughter, I'm a wife. I'm a healthcare professional, but I'm also a serial entrepreneur. I sit in the space of alcohol, so wine, beer, and liquor. I founded the first Kenyan American winery in the country, in the US. And I also host the tasting room in Alameda, California, which is the first Black-owned and woman-owned winery tasting room in the Alameda County and the greater San Francisco Bay Area. So for us, that was quite an achievement, but it was also a little sad because we launched in 2021. It was my COVID baby. But the fact that in 2021 it ended up being a first, it was also very telling about the space that we're in. And then I also have the first Black-owned, woman-owned distribution, importer, exporter, and distribution of wine, beer, and liquor, licensed in California. And we do bring sort of minority-crafted wines, beers, and liquors, and distribute them across California and take them to markets around the country.
Fantastic.
That's
wow.
wonderful.
Okay, that's I don't know what to say to that, but congratulations.
Yes.
That's phenomenal.
That is phenomenal. So, Dr. Chris, I know Dr. Wachira, Dr. Chris.
Either one takes.
Either one's fine.
Yeah.
So, what influenced your decision to step into entrepreneurship?
For me, I recognized a gap in the market, right? Coming from a very unconventional background, being healthcare, stepping into the wine space is a little different, right? You don't have too many folks that come into that direction. But I was born and raised in Kenya, and I recognized that my Kenyan palate was not reflected in the market. And so I recognized that gap, and I wanted to craft something that complemented Kenyan food. The one thing I'm absolutely in love with is Kenyan cuisine. I'm sorry for my Nigerians.
That's okay.
Especially when my mother makes it. And so I brought wines home to pair with her food, but it was never really complimentary. And so I wanted to craft something that would complement that food. That's where it started. Very selfish. Actually, I always say I started my business for a customer of one, myself. I knew what I wanted and I wanted to make it for me. And then the rest is her story.
Wow.
But then, culturally, when you cook and you can't eat your own food, there's a problem with that. So, it does make sense that you created a product that you're proud of. And when you taste it, you say, I am good, right? So, hey.
I'm still working my way to, what's interesting is, even having crafted that wine, and it took a long time for me to enter it into competitions. Not because I didn't think it was good enough, but because I knew it was great. I didn't need the competitions to tell me that it was. But then when we entered it into competitions, it won. It has the 5 wines have 34 medals.
Wow.
So for me, it solidified that we know a little bit about what we're doing.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And the Kenyan palate.
I know.
It's not just Kenyan, it's the world palate this time, right?
Yes.
And I have tested your wine and I can attest to it.
Yes.
I'm not a big wine person, but I have your wine and I'm like, okay, this is the best wine I've ever had.
Yeah, very nice, very nice. All right, so we have the next question. What recommendations do you have for other women who want to become entrepreneurs but don't know how or where to start?
I think that for me, the key thing is to find or identify what you love, what you're passionate about. And sometimes, sometimes passion comes along the way. It may not be there when you're getting started. Find something that you absolutely love, that you're comfortable, and that you can stay disciplined in, and then launch from there. You have to be flexible. You have to be nimble. You have to know that you may not know everything about what you're launching, and be willing to learn. Seek mentorship, from other people who've done either the same thing or have launched something, right? That way you can learn from them. Like mentors come in, men or women, whatever, and learn and just. But you have to stay humble and you have to stay disciplined. That's the primary thing. Yeah.
That's a wonderful response to that question. I think sometimes folks make the mistake of seeing the success, right? The start, the ending, but they don't see the journey, right? And so, I want to be like this person. I want to do what they're doing. What does it take for me to get there? But first, you have to identify what you're passionate about, because what you're passionate about may not be the same thing that I'm passionate about. So identify what it is that you love and what you want to embark on, and make sure that it aligns with the vision that you have for your life.
Right.
And that's super important.
Yeah.
And that honestly, that is sort of foundationally sort of the bare minimum again, right? Because you may be passionate about something, but when you look at the world, and the thing, I talk about looking at global markets nowadays, it's not just local markets, right? Because we're such an interconnected world right now. Like you don't have to limit yourself to your local environment. When you look at the world and if your passion does not add value to the globe, then you might have to rethink your vision, right? Because there may not be an outlet or a customer base for you. Because again, if you're starting a business, you're looking to generate revenue, right? And then the final thing, you absolutely have to believe in yourself.
Yes,
that's true. You absolutely have
that's
to.
That's a great
and
point.
Own it, especially for us. Like, I don't know, culturally, we are socialized to sort of shrink.
Yeah.
You have to take up space and own that space and show up as yourself.
Exactly.
So, during this journey, we have met some young professionals who believe that they must choose between career and family. You are a wife, a mother, and also an entrepreneur, philanthropist, and you have handled both responsibilities exceptionally. How do you stay grounded?
Grounded, my family is my family is my absolute why. So recognizing what your values are, and it helps you stay rooted, right, in your mission and your purpose. But I think also recognizing that you can't be all things, right? So if I am being a great mom today, showing up to my daughter's soccer match, I might not be a great entrepreneur because I'm missing a meeting. Right? So you can't be in two places at the same time. You can't be all things. So balance looks like being intentional in what you do and committed in what you do. So just recognizing those, and then giving yourself grace and permission to be, to fail, to not do something great, learn from it,
And then that's a fantastic response, because we did also identify that in our book when we talk about the 3 Ds, right? But most importantly is finding that balance. And I think we're structured in a way that our brains tell us we have to be super moms all the time, always. And some of us don't give ourselves grace, right? With the Energizer battery, we keep going and going and going, but recognizing that we're human, giving ourselves grace, right? And knowing that it's okay to fail sometimes, right? The expectation is not for us to be perfect. I think that's a very important point that you bring up. Thank you.
All right, I got one more question.
From her?
Yes. One more question for me. Okay, can you share some of the most important lessons you've learned?
Oh, wow. Resilience is a muscle.
Yes.
Right? And it's built, like we just spoke about, grace and failure, learning from your failures. That's what builds it, right? And then defining success for myself. I don't let the world tell me what my success should look like. I define it for myself. I need to be better. I need to be better today than I was yesterday, right? And even if I'm not better today than I was yesterday, I'm learning from that difference, that delta between how the good and the best, right? And then also, leadership is about the impact you have on others, on other people's lives. It's not so much about the title, right? I think it's Dr. Maya Angelou who said, people may forget you, may forget your name, but they'll never forget how you make them feel.
Right.
Right? So it's about having that impact on other people. And those are my two greatest lessons.
Resilience is a muscle.
Yeah,
I have to remember that
That's a big one. Because it sounds so simple, but
one.
it takes a lot.
Right?
Yeah.
It takes a lot.
It takes a
It
lot.
takes a lot. And you have to, when we think about the muscles, right?
Yeah.
The work, you have to keep working on it. Feed it, right? Eat the right things. So same concept. Wow. Okay.
And forgiving yourself.
I'm forgiving
my
yourself.
goodness.
Yes, because as immigrants,
Yeah.
that's a struggle.
You have
That's
to
really a struggle because we are taught not to fail.
Right.
You've got to get all the A's, remember? So,
And actually, that brings us into the next question.
sure.
As an immigrant, what is the biggest challenge you face today as an entrepreneur? And how are you approaching this challenge?
For me, the biggest challenge is working or trying to build businesses in a space that was not built for me, with me in mind, right? So I encounter a lot of limitations as far as the resourcing is concerned, currency, sort of financial support, where to source information from. So when you're stepping into a world that just did not think about me when it was being put together, that's been my biggest challenge. So I've had to build my own tables, I've had to build my own networks, and I've had to build my own entities. And that's why Caribou, for example, is an ecosystem that facilitates not just Wachira wines being served to the community, but it builds space, it creates space for other makers. So wine and beer, right? Small batch crafters who don't have a retail brick and mortar outlet, they can sell their products here and they call this place their home. They can come and do pop-ups in this space, right? And Soko distributors the same way. It focuses on minority crafters and brings them across the country for distribution. So what I've done, how I've decided to answer that is to build ecosystems that support folks who are like myself, who are not reflected in the industry.
I like you built your own table.
Yeah.
You bought it and you're sitting on it.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So many people have been waiting. They've wasted a lot of time waiting to be invited to a table, waiting to be accepted into a space. And I love that you too chose to change that narrative. No, I'm not going to wait for you to invite me. I'm creating my own table. You're welcome to join me.
Yes.
But one of the things I talked about quite a bit when we launched our book is when you get tired of waiting for someone else to do something, you do something about it. And Dr. Chris was so powerful about the work that you've done and continue to do, is that you recognized it's not just about you.
Right.
You're not creating a business to become a millionaire. I mean, don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with being a millionaire. I want to become a millionaire. But beyond that,
Right.
I want to create a space for other people to see themselves. You weren't seen, nothing was handed to you. Unlike many of us who are immigrants in this country and in other spaces, nothing was handed to us. We didn't get a playbook, right? Yet we figured it out. And the work that we're doing collectively by creating this space is, yes, we didn't have the opportunity, it wasn't given to us, but now we're here. And we're telling you that you can too become whatever you choose to become, despite the limitations that we encounter.
The time for complaining is over. The time for saying, oh, they did this or they did that. It's time to build your own table.
Absolutely.
And bring it.
Oh, yes.
Put your own stool.
Yes.
Amen to that.
Amen.
Oh.
back and bring somebody else.
Yes.
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 I always say there's no fun in a convoy of one. It makes
Ooh,
no sense at all.
okay.
Right?
That's a
so
good
always
one.
reach back and bring somebody else.
Yes.
And this is
Awesome.
part of this movement.
Right.
We call this a movement.
Yes.
Right.
It's not just something we're going to do and sign up. Yeah, we did it. It is a movement. It is a journey that will continue. And part of our goal is to uplift each other.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yes.
When I see the space, I'm taking my
You're
sister, I'm
using
taking
it.
my brother.
Yes.
Right.
And let's go.
Right.
Let's go change the world from
Yeah.
here.
And sometimes that also looks like being in a room where you physically don't have your sister with you, but you know she would be great at a gap that is being discussed in that room, and be like, you know what, Dr. Such and such, Dr. Ngozi will be great for that,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
Dr. Angela will be great for that. So Dr. Neka will be great for that. And so calling out names in rooms where we are not in,
That's
that
good.
is also a great way of putting
That's good. That's good. That's
That
a great
is
one.
wonderful.
Yeah.
I got the pleasure of asking the last question. Okay, so how do you manage other people's expectations of you? You know, people think they know us. They try to fit you into that box. They try to put you into that image.
Yes.
What they think they want you to be. How do you manage those expectations?
You know, this question is interesting because I have a very unconventional answer because I don't manage other people's expectations.
Okay.
I don't. Whatever you expect of me, that's on you. That's a you issue. I'm very aware of my responsibilities to myself, to my loved ones, to my teammates, right, my staff, and that is what I focus on. What the world expects of me is you will lose your mind trying to manage that. So I stay grounded. Again, my family is my true north. They're my first loves, and they are where I sort of root myself. And as long as I'm staying true to my values that I grew up in, and staying committed to my mission, and my mission is always to build spaces that build access to whatever it is. Because I look at myself in the way whatever I was lacking, right? Whether it's networks, financial information, relationships, I try to create ecosystems that facilitate those for others. And so as long as I'm staying true to that mission, you can expect whatever you want of me. That's on you.
That is a very unconventional answer. However, that is a very powerful answer as well. But although the focus is on her, I just want to hear how both of you would answer that question.
I didn't see that coming, but
Yes, I
I
know.
was listening to Dr. Chris. I'm like, you know what? It's truly unconventional, but it's a true answer. Because for me, I would tell people, look, I am not here to decide what you think about me or what you say about me or how you feel about me. I don't have control over that, but I do have control over how I respond to whatever you are dishing out to me. So I cannot control people's behavior or expectation because it is them, not me. I cannot put that burden on myself. And that is why a lot of times people will say, oh, she doesn't care. I do care, but I don't care what you think because I have no control over it.
Right.
What would I do with it? Yes, I'll take the chaff, I'll take the whole message, sieve it, put the chaff away, and take whatever is valuable to me and move on with my life.
Wonderful.
Thanks. Yeah.
I think for me, as you grow up, right, you begin to manage people's expectations differently.
Yes.
Initially, we're so eager to kind of, please everyone and, want to make sure we're doing it right and we're doing it correctly. But when you get to my age, you don't care anymore. You get to a place where, like Dr. Angela said it, and you, Dr. Chris said, you just begin to create your own expectation that you want other people to look at. Right? This is who I am.
Right.
So it doesn't take a rocket scientist, to show who I am. This is me. And so either you take it how you see me, or, if you don't like it, I'm sorry. There's nothing I can do about it. So I think over the years, as you grow, you tend to want to please everybody. But as you grow older, you're like, what the heck,
Right. Yeah.
I'm done. This
Our
is
ages
me.
are too big.
I know.
Big age.
getting to that big age too, so I couldn't be bothered anymore.
Oh my goodness! I think great answers. And once you create your brand, whatever that is.
Dr. Neke, you didn't answer the question. You need to answer the question too.
So really, I think for me, it's all about creating your brand.
Yes.
I do agree that some of these things come with age, but at the same time, we want our younger generations to learn from some of the things that the burdens that we carried for so long, right? If you think about it, in our book, we talked about being the Ada of the family.
Yes.
Now, I don't know if Dr. Chris is the Ada,
Yeah.
the first daughter of the family. Okay, now we're getting somewhere. And so when you come from a cultural background, there is an expectation that a burden that's put on you as the first daughter of the family, as the Ada, the way you're expected to act, speak, a lady should be seen and not heard, all those things put together. And so when coming into this cultural context, we brought that with us, and we tried for so long to be what everybody wanted us to be, and even now there are those who expect us to be certain things, but you make that conscious decision once you identify your brand. This is my brand. This is who I am. This is how I choose to show up in any space. This is how I choose to dress up, right? This is how I choose to be addressed, and all those wonderful things. Eventually, it comes to you, or there's that realization that people's expectations, to a large extent, doesn't matter anymore as much as what I expect of myself, right? I hold myself accountable. I know who I am. I know whose I am, and how I choose to live that life is entirely up to me, but not to somebody else.
And to our younger audience out there, this is a very important decision, because we are in the world where the social media, there is a lot of noises, a lot of people who knows something but don't know much. So it's important for you to look inward into yourself. What is valuable to you? Know that you cannot carry everyone's burden.
Right.
Know who you are and what to expect, and also understand that you have no control of what other people say or think about you, but how you react to those things, and that will help you a lot to carry on without compromising your value or who you are.
That is so true.
That is true.
And to be honest, for myself personally, I choose to, when you're a young girl being raised in the cultures that we were raised in, there's this emphasis on girls or women being nice.
Yes.
And I choose not. It's not like I'm a mean person, but nice doesn't work. Nowhere doesn't work. I would choose to be kind.
Yeah.
I'd rather be kind than be nice. Because nice for me is how the world looks at you, and kindness is from within. So I choose how I relate to the world. So kindness is what I serve to the world. Whether you think I'm nice or not, that's really
Yeah, but then who defines nice?
Exactly.
It's
so subjective. It is so subjective.
It is.
Yeah, and there's for girls especially, they say, oh, she's not a nice person, and
But she's kind.
she's kind.
Who defines nice, right? In what context?
And what does nice mean too?
And as long as we all know that not everyone will like you.
Exactly.
I don't care
That is
what
so
you
true.
do. There's always going to be someone who has something about how you dressed, what you wore, how you said something, and that's just life, and we all got to do that. So for us to start waiting and hoping that, creating expectations against other people, that really isn't worthwhile.
Absolutely. It's been wonderful spending this beautiful afternoon with you, Dr. Chris. Again, thank you so much for bringing us back into this space. We admire what you've built here, and our goal is to continue this mission to show that there are the Chris's of this world who are out there doing things that ordinarily, or rather some of us growing up didn't think was possible, right? And so we applaud you for all that you've accomplished, and all that you're going to accomplish. We can't wait to see all of those and celebrate with you. And so to our viewers out there, we are immensely thankful to you. Our fans, our supporters who wouldn't be able to do this work without you. Please follow us on Facebook and Twitter and check out our YouTube channel.
Yes.
And if you want to know more about the Wachira, go online. She has an amazing, a lot of beautiful things that you can learn from, buy a lot of beautiful products. We can testify to that.
Yes.
If you have not picked up a copy of our book, please get your copy. We're telling you, this is a life-altering experience, and you can already see and hear from those who've read it. And some people bought for their friends and their families. So pick up a copy, and most importantly, keep soaring.
Yes.
We are the voices of triumph.
Yes.
They wanna.
They will.
They want
Thank you.
to.
Asante sana.
Ah, that's great.